Crews came in removing all the trash that was sitting here and all the plants that used to sit right here. And all the ramps and gravel that used to be behind me, clearing out all that was left of this DIY skate park. The Kovacs here on the south end is not only important because of its history, but because of its location. Aside from convenience stores, the next closest grocery store is Apple Market, more than 5 miles away.
Pumpkins are the season, but the season wasn't so great for the pumpkin. I talked to a local farmer about how his crop has been during a wet summer. Plus, their church has been reduced to ashes, but their faith remains strong. Today, a rural congregation continues as usual after a fire destroyed their historic house of worship.
That's not the church. We are the church, and the church is going to continue on.
That was the theme of Sunday's service at Short Creek Baptist Church.
Praise Him, Jesus our blessed Redeemer.
Worship service was not held in the usual sanctuary. Instead, this rural home, a parsonage, because Saturday morning, flames burned where the church stood.
It just hurt I just broke down. I just cried. It's like a family member dying because we have been here so long.
Just grew up in the church and just lots and lots of memories and shed some tears, but just joyous that no one was in the church.
The small church in northwest Platte County recently celebrated its 145th year as a congregation. But this, the first day in 120 years, the service won't be held in the usual sanctuary.
And it was just home. I miss it now when I pulled up and I seen it. Just like you lost a piece of you.
But just as in Sunday's sermon,
We are the church. Look around at each other. We're the church.
the church continued to worship.
We're going to have church in the parsonage, whether it be out here in the parking lot, whether it be in someone's house. The church of Short Creek Baptist is going to go on.
Firefighters returned Sunday morning to put out hot spots still burning. No official cause of the fire has been released.
Well, it's not like it's the first day of kindergarten, but for many college students, jumping back into classes can be a tough transition. Missouri Western, however, lightened the mood today, welcoming the students back in style. And Adam Waltz is live at Missouri Western with more. Adam?
That's right, Julie. It's definitely more difficult to get a parking spot here as Missouri Western opens its doors for the 100th year. Now, of course, back in 1915, it was known as St. Joseph Junior College, but today, Mo West bringing out a little fun for the students getting ready for the new semester.
Hundreds crowding up the sidewalks at Missouri Western. And at times, what felt like a party was actually the first day of school.
It's great to be back at school.
The Western warm-up involved dozens of businesses, nonprofits, and student-run organizations reaching out to new students, showing there is more to do outside of class.
This is going to give them an opportunity, like I said, to not only know what kind of opportunities are available to them, but to get to interact with them. It's, priceless. How are you guys? Good.
Just don't go right back to the dorm room and sit. Get out, get involved, get to know some new people.
The warm-up not only eases nerves for new students.
It's kind of weird because I ain't been to school in a while, and to have this feeling again is great.
It re-excites upperclassmen for the year ahead.
Even as a super senior, I feel really awesome right now. I've already joined a couple of new organizations that I would have never seen before, so.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Didn't even feel like school was in session. And don't forget, we're also starting out with the Griffin football team. This Thursday, they're going on against Central Missouri in Warrensburg. We're going to have live coverage from that right here on Fox 26. Julie?
Closer to home, Central High School students are leading the way in the initiative to reduce head trauma and say they have seen positive results. Adam Waltz explains.
Concussions. The hottest topic in sports. More than 4 million concussions occurred in 2014, and according to headcasecompany.com, 47% of concussions happened during high school football. An engineering class at Central High in St. Joe may have a solution to soften the impact.
We feel like the thing that really causes most concussions is what we call head bounce.
After 3 failed prototypes, the students landed on the concussion collar, which fits on the shoulder pads and keeps the head steady after impact.
We're measuring the G-force inside of the helmet from the acceleration that the concussion collar tries to prevent.
There are two types of concussions, an acceleration concussion and a blunt force concussion. Now, the helmet takes care of the initial impact, but afterwards your body may bounce. That's where the concussion collar comes into play, keeping your head still, sending the force into the shoulder pads.
It's all about bracing that head for the impact, so it turns a big hit into a minor hit.
After testing, the amount of force significantly decreased when the concussion collar was applied, reducing the impact from 700 Gs to nearly 400. And don't worry, it's easy to play with.
It doesn't bind your neck, when you try to look left and right. So it doesn't inhibit the player's ability to actually play the football game.
The class has already applied for a patent, hopefully keeping the project alive after graduation.
It'd be really neat to see it actually in use on players and actually see people benefit from it.
And even though it hasn't seen any playing time, you can bet these guys have tested it out.
Impact. How'd that feel?
Feel what?
Adam Waltz, Fox 26, KNPN.
Fall is only a couple of days away, and already pumpkins are filling grocery stores and shopping centers. But this planting season caused an increase in retail prices in some states for pumpkins and a decrease in the amount of pumpkins harvested. Adam Waltz went out to the fields today. He talked to local farmers about how all the rain we got more than 3 months ago could be affecting your pocket this fall.
It's the season for pumpkins, but ask farmers about pumpkin season and they might say,
it cost me a lot more this year.
Farmers have a tight window to plant pumpkin seeds that falls right around late May and early June. But due to a rainy start to summer, farmers had a hard time planting the seeds.
We lost a lot of acres just in planting. We had to plant it 2 or 3 times because we'd plant the thing, it'd come up, and then we'd get a torrential downpour and it'd mud over every one of our plants.
This patch at Hunt Farm produced about half of what it usually produces. That's because all that rain got underneath the pumpkin, and with the added weeds, well, the pumpkin begins to rot.
The weeds love rain and sun, so they grow real well. It kind of tries to choke out and compete with the pumpkin itself.
Both farmers say the rainy season won't increase local prices, and there should still be plenty of orange to decorate with and carve into this fall.
The rain kept, the vines kept growing, the pumpkins kept growing, so they're going to be a nice sized pumpkin.
And when we did get in the fields and get it planted, it was pretty muddy when we did. We were kind of lucky just to get a stand out of it, but it came up perfectly. It came up great. Everything looks good. It just kind of pushed us back, but you won't see any difference in our retail.
The pumpkins that didn't quite make it are left to the bugs. Adam Waltz, Fox 26, KNPN.